Madonna, czarna Madonna, jak dobrze Twym dzieckiem być. O pozwól, czarna Madonna, ramiona Twoje
Now, the icon of Our Lady of Czestochowa has a particularly rich history. Tradition holds that the original was actually written on a cypress table that came from the home of the Holy Family that may have been made by St. Joseph or even Jesus himself. And that it was hidden away in a cave in the year 70 AD when Jerusalem was destroyed by the Romans. But then later it was rediscovered by St. Helena, the mother of the Emperor Constantine, and she took it back to the center of the Roman Empire at that time, Constantinople, where her son, the emperor, built a beautiful chapel for her. And it remained there for 500 years, eventually given as a wedding gift to the Princess of Ruthenia. It came under the possession of King Louis of Hungary and his regent, Prince Ladislaus, who kept it in a castle in Belz, which is now present-day Ukraine. It remained there for hundreds of years before it was moved from there after an attack by the Muslim Tartars. And so Prince Ladislaus felt that he had to move it further to the west for safekeeping. And he was intending to take it to his native land of Silesia, to his hometown of Poland. But as the wagon, the horses pulling the wagon were moving through the little village of Czestochowa, they stopped. They wouldn't go any further. And the prince saw this as a sign that that's where the icon should remain. Many people ask about the dark coloring of the icon. Our Lady of Czestochowa is also called the Black Madonna. Well, there are various theories about this. Some say it was the candles burning over the centuries that darkened her. Others say that she was damaged in a fire. Others say that Our Lady, being Middle Eastern, would have been fairly dark-skinned to begin with. Others say it was simply the stylized portraiture of the time. It's probably a combination of some or all of those factors. Another question people ask is about the scars on Our Lady's face. And that was done by Hussite raiders from what is now Czech Republic. And they were followers of a renegade Czech priest. They did not believe in sacred images. They tried first to steal her. And again, as they were trying to move her out of town, the horses wouldn't move. And so they tossed her from the wagon to the ground, and they slashed her with a sword. And she was able to be somewhat repaired, but those scars remain. And it seems that Our Lady wants us to know that she has suffered, and she can identify with the suffering people. Attempts have been made over the years to repair the scars. Always, seemingly miraculously, they reappear. Now, this icon of Our Lady of Czestochowa is not the original icon, but it is a faithful replica of the original, which is in Czestochowa, Poland. Blessed Pope John Paul II said that every human being is a manifestation of God, a sign of His presence, and a trace of His glory. Just before he left the United States in 1987, he said something I think is very prophetic about the right to life in America, when he said this, that every human being, no matter how vulnerable or helpless, no matter how young or how old, no matter how healthy, handicapped, or sick, no matter how useful or productive for society, is a being of inestimable worth, created in the image and likeness of God. He said this was the dignity of America, the reason that we exist, the very condition for our survival. and the ultimate test of our greatness, to respect every human being, especially the weakest, and the most defenseless ones, those as yet unborn. But unfortunately, we know that America has not heeded those words, and very soon we're going to celebrate another tragic anniversary of the Roe v. Wade decision that legalized abortion in all 9 months of pregnancy and for practically any reason. There's been attempts to limit it along the way, but they've always failed. And this is a great tragedy for us, for our country, just as the Dred Scott Supreme Court decision of 1857 was another tragic decision for our country that did not recognize the humanity of African Americans. We need to pray that this Supreme Court decision will be reversed. And since that, there continues to be 1.2 million abortions every year in our country. But I don't think the situation is hopeless. I think if we turn to God, if we turn to our Blessed Mother, we ask her intercession, she has the power from God to change things. One of the great examples, and I'll close with this, one of the great examples of the victory, a great victory won by Our Lady of Czestochowa was in 1979, when the communist government was not allowing Pope John Paul II to come to Poland. And the people of Poland prayed to Our Lady of Czestochowa. They called it the Siege of Jericho. They prayed for 7 days. At the end of their 7 days of prayer, the communists reluctantly and inexplicably dropped their heavy restrictions on Pope John Paul II's visit. He came to Poland, strengthened the Solidarity movement. That led to a chain of events that led to the fall of the communist government in Poland, throughout Eastern Europe, including the atheistic Soviet Union itself. So if our Lady can work such a great victory over atheistic communism in Eastern Europe, then she can help us here in the United States of America to build a new culture of life. So let's have confidence and turn to her and ask her to intercede with our son, for us, with her son, to help us to build a new culture of life.